you so much for joining me. There's a new message that has been sent out by the Guthrie siblings, and I'm going to play that information.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
Okay, so they have sent a message to the alleged abductor that they will pay. She will pay. But the point is, a second note has been sent, not directly to her. I don't know if it's proof of life or not, but allegedly there's some sensitive information in this second note. No response has come back. I'm going to be playing commentary from people who have been in the business of the law official arena, such as ex-detectives, FBI agents. We're going to go to Fox, and we're going to hear from a gentleman who has been in the law official business. He is on the ground in Tucson. He's going to give his opinion. Fox News is the source, everybody.
Let's go now to Fox News contributor Ted Williams. He is at the Pima County Sheriff's Office. Ted, you've had a few hours there on the ground. What are you learning?
Hey, Ben.
Hi, Kaylee. Let me tell you first, I just heard Harvey Levin speak about the letters, and they were articulate. Let me just say this. You can write a letter these days, and then you can turn it over to AI, and AI can make those letters look very articulate. So I'd have to be somewhat suspectful about that. But I can tell you, I got on the ground here last night, and I immediately went over to the crime scene area that at some stage of it, it was already somewhat barren off. But I came away with a feeling here. And that feeling is that there was more than one person involved here, Kaylee. And I came away with a feeling that whoever was involved in this, that they had been in that home, on the roof and other places in that home, and they knew enough that they are also possibly involved, meaning that there's someone who's associated in the past or now with that home, I believe, is involved in Nancy gone missing. I also believe, I'm sorry.
What leads you to that belief?
41 minutes. We know that around 1:14 is when they possibly entered that home, and they left around 2:18 because this is when the pacemaker was somewhat disconnected from the Bluetooth. And if you are a crook and you want to burglarize a place, you're going to get in there and you'll get the hell out. If you're a robber, you're going to get in there and you're going to get the hell out. They stayed in 41 minutes. That leads me to believe that they were well aware of the cameras, and those cameras were inoperable in that home. And I think that the individuals involved in Nancy going missing definitely knew that they didn't have to worry about law enforcement immediately rushing there, because they would have gotten out there a lot longer, or a lot sooner, should we say, than 41 minutes.
Ted, I think that is such a key point. They knew, because those cameras, I mean, I get alerts on my phone any moment anyone steps near my house, and that person would have had to know, hey, this isn't going to alert to someone's phone. This isn't on a relative's phone. I think that is such a key point. Ted, please keep us updated throughout the day.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno.
Fox News. I want to thank that gentleman for his commentary. He made valid points. Sorry that I did not go over the 41-minute situation with you all. So we're going to discuss it now. They're talking about the time the person dismantled the cameras, the time they went in the house, what they did in the house, approach Mrs. Nancy, obviously put their hands on her, left behind DNA outside the front door. Her car was seized, the blue Subaru SUV was seized yesterday evening. Also before that, law officials were at the Circle K convenience store gathering surveillance on an alleged car. And then what's interesting is that first they're at the Circle K and then they're back at her house seizing her car. And then FBI agents or law officials found a wire device, which is, I believe, a camera on top of her roof. What I find interesting is that the past 2 days, Queen has been looking at the roof. I never said anything to you all, but I was saying to myself, wow, it's awfully clean up there. I said, gosh, that roof is clean. And then poof, voila, out of nowhere, here comes, oh, we found a wire device. Hello, Linda. Thank you for joining me. So we have a second note, no proof of life. Allegedly, there's something in the note, but I don't know what's in the note. I played you the commentary just a few minutes ago of the family sending a message to the alleged abductor. And then we have commentary from Fox where this gentleman never says he believes that they are the abductor. The only thing he talks about is the 41 minutes and that somebody knows the house, been in the house, more than one person involved. But he never connects her abduction to this ransom note. If you listen carefully, he never connected the two because they may not have anything to do with one another. Hello, T. Conky. Thank you. You're welcome, sweetheart. Circle K, 6 minutes from Nancy's house. Someone had to have put in a tip that they saw a car, a vehicle, and what is going to be very baffling and tied into what this man has said, that this is somebody that knows Nancy or has been in her house and had knowledge of her house. And this is what's going to be even more crazy. If her car was used, why are you all waiting a week to seize her car? I will say that the sheriff, you all dropped the ball because what you're doing now are things that should have been done days ago. You should have looked at every inch of her house. You should have went all around her property, into the other neighbor's property, through the brush. You should have been inside every room, washing machine, dryer, cupboards, dressers, cabinets, behind the bed. Because you don't know, maybe somebody left a note somewhere and was waiting to see if you all would find it. I don't know. I don't really think these notes are connected to her. Some of you may believe that. You're entitled to your opinion. I just got a feeling this is a ruse from somebody just trying to get money. Because if you want somebody, if you want money, you're going to do your damnedest to get to the person, to get to the money. The fact that they're not trying to get to these people directly leads me to believe they don't want to get caught. Because they know the longer they converse and speak with Savannah, that is a chance for them to be apprehended. But you're still using devices and servers to call these, send these tips in to the news stations. And that's how the tips got in, the ransom notes, through the tip line. You had to fill it out, put in an email address. Also, the email addresses are different, but the person believes that the same type of secretive server was used. Was her vehicle used in carrying her off somewhere? Because why are they just now seizing her car? Will her car reveal any type of evidentiary material? Did somebody see her SUV at that Circle K, in the vicinity of the Circle K? Could it be that somebody took Nancy in her own damn car, dropped her off somewhere, and came back and put gas in her car? I bet you all are like, damn, Queen, I'm on it, baby. Is that where this is going? That her own car was used to get rid of her? I have this sick feeling she's not alive. I have this sick feeling that these people are dicking these people around to get money. You heard that she said she will pay. I wouldn't give them a dime. You show me my mother is alive. You show me something personal inside of my mother's house to let me know you've been in her house. You tell me that there's a picture over the mantelpiece, the fireplace. Tell me what color her comforter is. That's personal. What color is the comforter? How many pillows were on the bed? What color were the pillowcases? Does she have a picture over her dresser? Does she have a dresser in her room? I don't want to hear anything about the watch was in the room. We know the watch was in the room. Where in the room? What was it sitting on? A stand, a stool? Describe the nightstand if the watch was on it. What color was the stand? See, that's the kind of information you want to hear back. And most importantly, I want to see my mother in a video, and she's holding up the latest date. I want to see the date, February 6th, February 7th, whatever the date is. I want to see a newspaper with her holding it. I want to see her sitting upright. You haven't done that. So if you're trying to be in control of the situation, as I heard one gentleman saying, they're trying to control the situation. You're trying to control the situation because you want those millions of dollars and thinking that it won't be tracked. But you're fooling with the FBI, honey. So you can go through all the servers you want and 50,000 different IP addresses and all of that, and this Bitcoin nonsense. You don't have Nancy. That's what it seems to me. That you do not have this lady. Because if you did, you'd be eager to get this over with. Here is your mother. Now please send me my money. And you don't have a guarantee, we don't have a guarantee, nor do they, that you will send her back. Where is she? Is this an inside job? Is this somebody that knows Nancy Guthrie? They have been in her house. They know she lives alone. They know she's got children who don't live right around the corner. They knew about the cameras. They knew that they were not going to immediately alert the police because this is too convenient. That she didn't even have sensors on her doors, her windows, to alert a person to where they would even speak to you. Get away from the house. Get away from the house. The authorities will be called. That's the type of security you want for an 84-year-old. To where as soon as you step up to the door and you put your little hand on the door handle or you're jimmying anything outside of that door, an alert, an intercom comes on. Step away from the house, please. You are being monitored. This is jacked up. How about that? All right, everybody. We're going to play more commentary pertaining to this debacle out of Tucson, Arizona. It's just not looking good to me. Make sure you take the poll on my community page. Nancy Guthrie's captors are not playing by the rule. This is by News Nation. We don't even know that she's held by anyone.
Hundreds of kidnapping cases in Iraq. Dan, what do you make of these latest developments that in the first message from these purported kidnappers, they had said, this is our demand, no more communication. Then we have the family coming out twice with videos pleading for proof of life and a way to communicate. And now we have, it looks like, according to the news director of the station that received 2 messages, it looks like they're both sent from the same person. They are communicating again, so they've already changed at least one condition.
Yeah, the reality is they have not provided proof of life. And again, this was stated in their previous show on News Nation by one of the the FBI law enforcement personnel. This isn't like any case I've ever seen, and I've been tracking cases now for 20 plus years. Like 2 years in Iraq, 04 to 06, but I've almost got a PhD in this, and I've never come across this case with, the demand sent to TMZ, sent to local news media. They need to go directly to the family. They're asking for millions of dollars on Bitcoin, which will be untraceable if that money's sent. And they're not acting in good faith. And I frankly think this group is going after the news media. They've created this 24/7 news cycle, and I think this exposure may be part of it. So you have to look at, the motives. Why would you go after, Savannah Guthrie is a very high-profile figure, but she's not controversial. Why would they go after her mother, who's got a health condition? She's 84.
No telling.
But my bigger concern is the fact that they use violence at the scene.
Yes, because we know that Nancy's blood was found on the front stoop. She was hurt at some point while she was abducted.
Right, so from the get-go, the family cannot trust that what they're doing with an honest broker from day one. Kidnapping is a business. Kidnap for ransom is a business, and people need to play by the rules. This group or this individual is not playing by the rules. Therefore, the family and the others will be hesitant to move forward because there are no good faith negotiations in this case.
Yeah, listen, the Guthrie family has a very, very difficult decision, an excruciating decision to make in the next hours and days. Do they pay this ransom without proof of life, because the second message does not contain proof of life, or do they risk something happening to their mother and having to live with the fact that they gave up perhaps the chance to save her? If you were advising this family, because we know the FBI is working closely with the Guthries, what would you tell them? What do you think the FBI is advising them?
Well, you never pay without proof of life. Bottom line, especially not millions of dollars. The fact that they showed violence from the get-go, they have a propensity to violence. There's no guarantee. I'm just saying, it's a very tough decision. I can't imagine what the Guthries are going through at this stage, but you cannot pay something without a proof of life. And this clock is ticking. Monday's going to be here very soon. But they have to stay strong because, and there's no guarantee that these email messages are even coming from people who have her, and if they do, there's no guarantee that that they're going to make a deal to bring home her mother safely. So
it is a heartbreaking, incredibly awful position for this family to be in tonight. Dan O'Shea, I appreciate you coming on. I'm sure we'll have you back as this story develops.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe.
News Nation, everybody. Content uploaded a day ago. Thank you. This man made a very valid point, just like the other guy from Fox News. First of all, you do not know that the ransom notes are related to the abduction of Nancy. You have no proof, number one. You have no proof that she is alive. You have no proof that if you send the money, they'll return her. You have shown no proof of life. So why send money, as he said? I would not send the money. Show me my mother. And the main thing that nobody is talking about, they put their hands on her. If she did not bleed on her own, such as a nosebleed from the excitement of all that was going on, if they put their hands on her, knocked her in her face, hit her in her mouth, hit her in her nose, that means they have no respect for her, and you have no guarantee that they are going to, one, hand her over, because for all we know, they unalived her shortly after taking her out of that house. Okay, Reading Book says, I think they know their mother is gone. Yes, because they could have been sent the money. And time is of the essence when it comes to cases like this, okay? The first 48 hours is important to any type of crime. Too much time has elapsed, okay? Because the sheriff, you all did not do the things you were supposed to do, which is very baffling to me. You should know the game. You should have had people come in immediately due to the fact this is somebody who is famous. This is their mother, okay? Not saying that other crimes do not matter, but it is what it is. We also have Mr. Trump saying he is sending in more FBI agents to aid into the search of Mrs. Guthrie. And he says he believes a resolution will be coming around the bend very soon. So what do you know, Mr. Trump? Enlighten us. The camera on the house, the wired device, the neighbors saw that. This is bullshit. How did you miss that last Sunday? How did you miss that? The neighbor saw that and let you all tell it, can't nobody see anything. Oh, the brush, the this, the that. Oh, the air pollution, the night pollution, the light pollution. You all sound so stupid out there in Arizona. And I don't mean to talk bad about people in Arizona, but this is bullshit. I don't care about the night pollution, air pollution, light pollution. You all are going to get robbed again out there. You're sitting on your high horses talking about lights and the stars and all this old fucking nonsense. There's a woman missing who had a camera that wasn't recording. And her children should have known this. When you have elderly parents, you need to be watching what the hell's going on with them at their home. I get it. Parents want to be on their own. She still was aware of her faculties, but she couldn't walk. So if there was something that happened in her house, such as a fire, could she get out? You all aren't thinking. Oh, she don't got dementia. She's real savvy. She's real smart. Well, she can't move. Reading books, the fact that they said it was a crime scene inside should tell anybody with some sense. She didn't go walk anywhere. Allegedly, she couldn't walk. So how would she wander off? I tell you, nobody listens. They deemed it a crime scene inside. And you have to use deduction. The blood is either from her bleeding on her own or somebody caused her to bleed. Meaning, why are you trusting the words of somebody who would put their hands on your mother? Checkmate. You see, some of you all are hearing what you want to hear pertaining to this information. I'm not going to trust anybody that, number one, breaks into a house. Number two, put their hands on an elderly person. Number three, takes the elderly person out of there. Number four, don't take them to get no aid to the hospital. Where are you confused? And then you're thinking that these ransom notes have something to do with the fact that she's missing? Please, you can't be that naive. There are no guarantees. We've already got one person arrested for sending fake information, calling her family members. He just got arrested in October for fraud on his job. So who's to say that this person isn't connected with him? Ding, ding, ding. Because we don't even know how many people are working together on this nonsense, on the ransom notes / the abduction. And something's off with the Circle K nonsense. Police are at the Circle K looking for a car, and then next thing you know, they just happen to show back up to Nancy's house, seizing her car, which will lead me to believe somebody saw Nancy's car moving itself. Ding, 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 ding. Nancy doesn't drive. That's obvious if we're going to believe this Uber allegation. Oh, we talked to the Uber driver. Did you talk to the Uber driver? And who's the person that called to say she didn't show up for church? But then we find out the church is online. She hasn't been to church since COVID. Anybody paying attention? You won't tell us who called about her not showing up to church, the church that really don't exist, in my opinion. She went to dinner. I don't even know if that's the truth. They could have got the car on the first day. Well, they could have taken the car and disposed of Nancy Guthrie in her own damn car, and then went to Circle K to get a candy bar and gas, drove the car back to the garage, parked it, and then got in their car and went on their merry way. And then what you have to ask yourself, if this scenario is true, this is not somebody random. This isn't somebody random. This is too much work for some any old random ass person. This is shit you do when you know the victim. Are we going to find out that Nancy was in her own damn car, thrown in the back hatch or back seat by somebody that knows her? And they have disposed of Nancy, but they have disposed of her in a place where she will be eventually found, because somebody needs money to collect off of this dead body. I said that. God forgive me. Because the one thing you have to remember, if this is an inside job and greed, you need a body to collect. Sounds harsh, I know. You need a body to collect insurance. And everybody now is crying about the 41 minutes. So let's talk about it. What were you doing in her house? Because you have to give the person time to take the cameras off, front and back or wherever. Then they've got to get in the house and get to her and then do whatever the hell they were doing when they were in there. So are we talking about people that broke in that went looking for something and she woke up? Or they went directly to her and woke her up to get her to give them what they're looking for? This sounds like somebody that knows her. This don't sound like some random. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. What were you all looking for in there? See, as I told you all before, if indeed this is personal and it's one of her children, this could be what someone said earlier that I was listening to before, when I went out, ran some errands, and I was listening to it. The dinner was to set up to ask for what they wanted, perhaps. Hey, Mom, we need some money. Bad. No, I don't have any money to give you. Mom, we need the money bad. So then she gets dropped off. She's irritated, upset, and then the plan is hatched. We're going to get that money one way or the other. We're going to get something. Did it go like that? I don't know. Somebody mentioned that earlier. That's what the dinner was about. To ask Mrs. Guthrie for some money. I have this sick feeling that this is personal, that it doesn't have anything to do with Savannah per se. This isn't some random immigrant, random kid, random anybody. What if she argued with someone at that dinner? And that's possibly what happened, is that was the purpose of the dinner. Let's get Mom over here, feed her really good, and then ask her for some money, ask her for something. Because as I have said to you, it is obvious that this house is well taken care of. I just learned today it's a family house. The kids grew up there. So this isn't a newly purchased house or a house that was built 5-10 years ago. It's been there for a very long time. So common sense will tell you over the years, with this woman amassing a lot of money, she has kept this house up for her mother. Okay? And possibly the other brother. They all have kept the house up in good running shape. And so people build up animosity. It's just life. Then why she was at that, these people were already there. What do you mean, hon? What are you saying? I think that's what this is about. Animosity, feeling entitled. And I have shared, stories with you all this week about people who live off of other people's good wealth and they feel entitled to their money. But it doesn't work like that. Whether you are a mother, a grandmother, a brother, or a sister, you can't expect people to pay your way, even if you are very wealthy. You've heard the stories over the years of people telling the world they don't buy me anything, they don't give me money, they don't pay my car note. Who was that recently that said their kid is driving a Honda? I can't remember who that was. And it's somebody very wealthy. But their child is driving a regular car. They're not driving a fancy BMW or a sports car. Some people are stingy with their money. They don't want to give up their money to their friends, to their family members. I've seen it all, honey. I have seen it all. It was said Anna and her husband purchased a house. I think Nancy bought it for them. Okay, yes, I had heard something about a house, but I was not sure because, I didn't want to pass any more rumors about a house and that they were living with Nancy at one time, which doesn't make any sense that anybody would be living with Nancy because her husband is a school teacher and she allegedly has a job. So really they didn't have any reason to be living with her. Now, if she asked them to, for health reasons, that would be different. But if you were living with her for financial reasons, that don't make no sense. When one of you, you actually have an educational degree. You can get a teaching job anywhere in the United States. You're fine, sweetie. See, I don't really know what's the truth. What I'm going on is the information brought to us by law officials. And as you've heard in the YouTube queue, a lot of people are saying the same thing. That something is off. And I get it. It's going to appear off because we don't know everything. But when you start hearing things about doorbell cameras and cameras not working, not recording, as you heard one guy say, there should have been some alerts. The alerts should have went to everybody's phone that is related to her. So if she's in deep sleep, your phone's going off and you could get up and say, oh my gosh, there's something going on at mom's house. Got to get over there, call the police. Because really all that should have been connected to the police anyway. She's an elderly person. This is why I say she should have had a life alert. She should be wearing a life alert. So if she's getting up to go to the bathroom, she slips, she falls, she's feeling chest pains, all she has to do is punch that button and it is connected to the police department. What is it that everybody's missing here? That doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't seem that there was no care for her. Now, I could be wrong to where she's just a stubborn old lady and she don't want to wear a life alert. She didn't care about the subscription to the cameras because in the end, it is her house. So she could have been getting the due bill and just said, the hell with it, I ain't paying it. But I, as a child, would say, is everything working okay with the cameras? I would check. I would check. And I would have paid that little few damn dollars a month. So that way I know for sure the cameras are working. I think it could be possible they might live with her long ago. Okay. Well, she's saying that they're willing to pay. They're willing to pay. One second, everybody.
To return our mother to to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. We received your message.
If this was my mother, I would do everything I could possibly do to make sure she's okay. And with that kind of money, I would have had somebody staying with her. Well, boycott, this is why I said, yeah, reading books. You can't trust people. You can't trust people to stay with people. And in the end, as I have said before during this commentary, it is easy for me to give my opinion because I'm just an outsider looking in. But I do not know the Guthries. I do not know what type of person Nancy is. As they said, she is very aware of her faculties. So she may have been the type of person that said to her children, what I say go. This is my house. I'll do what I want. I'll pay for what I want. So you understand? For all I know, she deliberately not paid for that subscription because in the end, this is her house. And you have seen it so many times. A lot of detectives have been saying it. So many businesses are doing the same thing. They have cameras up that do not work. It is just to scare them because to scare the people, make them think there's a camera because they're too cheap to pay for the camera service, which makes no damn sense. You have a legitimate business, you have a home, you have children, you have pets, you should want the best for them. That means you should pay for your cameras to roll and record. It defeats the purpose in buying the damn dummy camera. But I've heard it many times that many people and businesses have dummy cameras. And sadly, on this occasion, the camera did not record, and we now have a missing 84-year-old, which will lead me to believe that some people are saying who are detectives, cops. It just seems orchestrated that these people knew this. Because what makes you think that you're breaking into someone's home that they don't have cameras inside, that you don't know where they are? So what were they doing when they broke in for the 40-something minutes that everybody's going on and on about? They were looking around, trying to find the cameras in the dark, pulling up the plants and stuff, going through everything. I mean, let's make it make sense. Why were you all in there so long? What were you looking for? What were you looking for in this woman's house? And most importantly, why are you there? Why were you there? And why did you put your hands on her? Because I do not believe she was just upset and got a nosebleed, because law officials said the inside is a crime scene and there is other DNA in there. So something went on in that house. I don't know the room. I don't know exactly what. And as this man said in this commentary I played, he said, why would you all trust the abductor? They have put their hands on your mother. And if it is indeed the same person or people, you're going to trust a person that would break in a house in the AM, put their hands on your mother, go through her stuff, hit her, take her out, and disappear into the night. And I don't think people are really thinking about that. And we don't have proof that whoever went in her house and took her out is also the same person sending these stupid notes to TMZ and the news station. And this is the stupid part. These people want attention. And that's really something younger people do. Because why are you calling TMZ? It's a gossip magazine. Oh, I don't want to talk to. I want to talk to Savannah. I want to talk to her, but you want her money. Make that make sense? This is the only way. You're going to do it my way. I am contacting the news and the news only. This is bullshit. Anybody paying attention, you should smell bullshit. You want millions of dollars through Bitcoin so it can't be traced. And your only method of getting the message to the money bag is through TMC and the news. Help Queen understand, because I am utterly confused. You do not want to talk to the cash cow. Don't mean to be disrespectful, Miss Savannah. But they don't want to talk to you. But they want your money and got your mama, allegedly. But yet won't show you proof of life, but want your money. And just think you just get ready to go to the bank and get millions of dollars to transfer through a Bitcoin and then sit idly by and wait for them to return your mother. Who in the hell believes this? Baby, I turned 55 a week ago. I don't believe that. Because just imagine had the person that reached out to her sister and husband-in-law, had Savannah sent that guy money. Anybody paying attention? Just imagine had Savannah sent money to him. And then this other letter come out and they say, well, where's my money? And then she says, oh, I already sent you the money. And then they say, no, you didn't send us the money. You sent somebody else the money. I don't know who that person is. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Yes, it is all over the place. So what I'm trying to make you all understand is you have to pay attention to the details, because in the details is where the truth is. And what did I always tell you all when it comes to true crime? The truth is always at the beginning of the story, not the middle, not the end. The beginning of the story is that she went somewhere for dinner. Start there. She got in an Uber allegedly and went to someone's house and came home. And as I told you all in my live yesterday, please check it out. It's very long. What is the one coincidence that's similar to two other cases of two missing children here in Tennessee? A little white girl went out with her mother all day, and just so happens she comes home and goes missing in her house. But her brothers, they're unharmed. Summer Wells. A little white autistic boy goes missing in his house, and he had been out with his mother all day. Do you all understand? Now you go all the way over to Arizona, and she goes out to eat with her family as well. And then she comes back, retires for the evening, and Satan and his friends are lying in wait to break into her house. Just so happened the day she had been out eating with her family. None of the kids paid the $12 a month for their 84-year-old mother's ring cam. Is weird to me. I know, Carter. And that's what we're saying is that, or I'm saying is that, I don't know what type of person Nancy is. She could be a very feisty person who is just doing things her way. Because as I said to everyone here, it is her house. And that's the one thing everyone has to remember, no matter the age of the person. It's her house, it's in her name allegedly. So what she says goes. So it doesn't matter if she has 12 cameras, inside, outside. It's a matter of who's paying the due bill. For all we know, she knows that they don't record. But I can't see somebody hooking them up and not explaining to her, ma'am, you have to pay for a subscription in order for them to record in case there's a worst case scenario. But as I've told you, people take a lot for granted. This could be that type of situation. I'm not really sure. It is also possible the ransom scammers have nothing to do with the actual, well, Timmy, and that's what I've been saying to people in the chat. You don't have any proof that the ransoms are connected to the abduction of Nancy. And I think with the fact that one person is already in custody and it is I think it might be a federal crime, why would you believe this person is legitimate? Why would you believe this person is legitimate when he or she has not shown proof of life? You want millions of dollars and you won't even show Nancy on a video? You won't even take a picture of her holding a newspaper with the current date? You won't even get information from her that's personal to she and her children that they can say, oh yeah, he must be with mom. This don't make no sense. Why didn't they pick her up instead of her catching an Uber, brought her back home, but not pick her up? Very sus, okay? They said, okay, 2 days after. Well, let me tell you all of that. Why she took the Uber, once again, I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to bother them, and she said, I'll catch an Uber, because she's probably been catching Ubers to get around since she's not driving her car. As for the notes, my understanding is that the first note was sent to, I think, the news station or TMZ Monday morning, if you had not heard that. The first note was sent Monday morning. So you can calculate in your head when was the first broadcast of Nancy being missing versus the note being sent to the tip line. Cali Cat says, I would say send us a piece of my mom's hair to know that this random is not just a red herring. Okay, Timmy. Hell, we don't even know she really took an Uber. Very true, Timmy. See, that's where this is becoming suspect personally. We have information about an imaginary person calling, hey, you need to go check on your mom. She ain't at church. But then we find out she hasn't been to church in almost 6 years. And I think most of you know who watch church online, nobody knows you're watching until you comment. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Kind of like what we're doing here. So is it the fact that they had a live stream like this and everybody started coming in the chat speaking and they didn't see Nancy's name and they got worried and then called and said, I don't see Nancy's name in the chat. Okay? You said, I don't get it to TMZ though. Well, as someone said, this is somebody that wants attention. What better way to get attention than call TMZ? Come on now. This is attention seeker. Please share your theory on why they impounded grandma's blue SUV. Okay, the SUV, let me go before that, Timmy. Yesterday evening, police were at the Circle K getting video footage of an alleged car. Don't know whose car, but obviously they got a tip to go to the Circle K, which is 6 minutes from Nancy's house, which will lead me to believe, drum roll, shortly after the Circle K visit, why are you all at Nancy's house seizing the blue Subaru? Because perhaps, and God forgive me for what I'm going to say, but I said it earlier, they put Nancy in her own damn car after crossing over the threshold. They put Nancy in her own car, drove her somewhere and dumped her off, came back into the city limits, Circle K, got gas, candy bar, beer, whatever, went back to the house, parked Nancy's car, and then got in their car and left, which to me is somebody personal to Nancy, not a random person. Not a Pookie, not a Ray Ray, not a Bubba. Because you have to admit, this is too coincidental for them to be at the Circle K because I was watching this in real time yesterday. I kept hitting every video that came up yesterday evening, and they were at the Circle K. And that's when I started getting excited. I was like, oh, somebody's turned in a tip. Somebody's had their cameras working. Somebody has seen a vehicle in the neighborhood. Thank you, Jesus. And then I kept watching and watching. And the next thing I know, I see her truck on the flatbed. And I said, wait. So Ron Eaton said, I'm going to stand here and watch this truck and see if it's Nancy's car. And I told myself, she's driving a blue Subaru, because I saw the emblem when the garage door was open. I said, if it's a blue Subaru on that flatbed, oh, shit. And I'll be damned. There it was. Timmy says, that makes more sense than a ransom. Yes, the SUV was in the garage the first time a drone was sent in, but the car was left in the garage while they were tending to other things. Yes. Hasn't been to church in 6 years. Yes. I love what you said, that all stories circle back to the very beginning. Yes. Every story. Every story. That's why I was able to start putting this together and comparing it to other stories of missing children. You said the phone call came from church on Zoom. Well, Linda, when did you start doing church on Zoom? I've never done church on Zoom except in a Zoom meeting that I was having with my elders. It wasn't church. It was in the middle of the week. There was no church. I was in a meeting with elders. We were having a personal conversation. It wasn't church. So I don't know what type of Zoom church this would be, unless it's a very small church. And from what I was thinking, it didn't seem like it was a small type church. I wouldn't send the money. Hold on, you all. I wouldn't send the money unless I knew the random people are the ones who took her. I still think the Bill and possibly sister are involved. Okay. I hope Savannah uses her background as an attorney to carefully observe her sister and brother-in-law's body language and behavior while she's living with them. Hello, Bonnie. Good to see you. I have on Zoom, it was Bible study. Okay, but that's what I'm trying to say, Books. Bible study, that's more of a smaller setting than a church with 200, 300 people. You understand what I'm saying? Bill mean. She may have mispronounced something. Let's see what else we can find, everybody. I've got a lot of stuff I've shared to my community page. So feel free to go on over there and take the polls. Everything I've been playing is like Fox, ABC, News Nation. Played the 40-minute window. The captor's not playing by the rules. Once again, Trump is sending in agents. Let's talk about the contamination of the scene. Fox News is the source. Oh, Linda says that's not only Sunday mornings. Okay. Yeah, you can chat with people if it's church. Yeah, see, I was thinking it was like what we're doing here, and you could just talk while church is going on, because really you really can't concentrate on church if you're talking to people. So I don't know why it just didn't make any sense to me.
You have answers to what we've been asking.
I like this guy here. This guy here I like.
Based on everything you've seen, does Nancy Guthrie and the Guthrie family know the person who perpetrated this crime?
No, I don't think that they directly know the person, but I do believe that there were some things that happened yesterday that highlights what's going on in this investigation. And when I say that, guys, I'm speaking specifically of the automobile. That automobile was in that garage, and that automobile had not been processed. And if we step back a little bit, we know that early on, a second note was sent, as a result of the siblings putting out a proof of life request. And I can tell you, we're not dealing with dumb, ignorant people who don't realize that if they say something as it pertains to that proof of life, that they very well themselves may be able to expose themselves. So what they're doing is they're trying to see if they can give the authorities, I believe in that second note, information that will let them know that they are really the perpetrators of this crime,
Because the
but
FBI
yet not
came.
give them anything along the lines of a proof of life.
You know, Ted, knowing you as well as I do, I've got to think that you are perplexed a little bit at what appears to be maybe some early missteps by the authorities. For early on, they open up the crime scene, then they close it down and go back in and search. And now we see things like they're taking this surveillance camera off the roof. Why didn't they get that earlier? Or what do you make of any of the sort of early missteps that they may have made?
You know, Griff, you and I have done investigations throughout this country. And one of the things that we've always seen, and unfortunately we're not seeing out here, and that is the preservation of the crime
Obviously not.
scene. I remember being out in Moscow, Idaho, where the four students were killed. And if you remember, that crime scene was preserved until they tore that building down probably about a year or so later. I would have expected.
Okay, that's the same guy I played for you today. Now here he's saying he don't think it's the people that know her, but I think when he did the next video, he sounded like he was saying she knows the perpetrator. Okay, for those who are confused about the tape and why the FBI are here, the FBI are here because they called, asked, do they need some help? He invited them. He told you all that in the press conference. So the FBI has to come in and go over everything that's already been done. They're not just going to come in and take your word that you looked in the garbage can, you looked in the dryer, you looked in the cupboards, you looked under the bed. No, they're going to do all of that. That's why they were on top of the roof looking at everything, how they found the device, because the neighbor saw the device, which should have been seen days ago, but it wasn't. So FBI is redoing everything. They're going to the sister's house, which I noticed last night. There were 2 vans there, which looks very suspicious to me because most deputies come to your house in either a car or an SUV. They were in the vans that look like forensic vans. Do you understand where I'm going? They were at Annie's house last night. 2 white vans were outside. And I told myself then, this don't look right. I said, these look like forensic vans. Okay, so Timmy says Brian said a forensic expert. Yes, it was 2 of them parked like right up close. And I thought that didn't look right because I said, most police departments use SUVs or they use regular cars, not utility vans. Utility vans are used because they've got bags and boxes and, things to put stuff in. It didn't look good. And as this guy is saying, this camera on top of the building is very important because imagine you went and took off the cameras, front door, back door, but you forgot about the one on the roof. Hot damn. And maybe that's why it's up there, because of this bright light bullshit that the people in Arizona don't like lights for light pollution and they can see the stars. Her mother said, let's put a camera up there on the roof. Somebody told her to put that camera up there, and they probably did that because of all the brush. You can't see anything. So this may catch our killers, abductors, whatever you want to call them. But where there's a problem, if you got one camera not recording, who's to say that camera is recording? Jesus wept. Timmy says, that's what makes me think ransom letter is totally unrelated to the actual crime. Why is that, Timmy? Why do you not think they're related? Boycott says, this is so crazy. They will make a movie about this because this is like Hollywood. Boycott Portland and Oregon. Why you want to boycott Portland and Oregon? Those are pretty places. And you're saying Nancy lived alone. No one else should have accessed this place. I'm so upset. But see, Bonnie, you don't know who was going in her house. She could have had maid service, caregiver coming 3-4 hours a day. You got to remember, she can't walk, remember? So who's cleaning her house? Who's helping her do her laundry? She's got a pool in the back. Got to have a pool guy. She's got to use Uber or somebody from church come pick her up, take her to do her groceries. She's got to buy stuff, food, toiletries, detergent. Who's doing all of that? So this is why they have a lot of work to do, because you need to know everything about Nancy Guthrie to get to the bottom of why she was targeted, who went in there, and what they've done with her. Everybody that has gone to her house in the past couple of months. Now, we've heard something about a white van in the neighborhood, trespassers in the neighborhood, don't know anything about any of that. One lady said nothing came from the white van, but like she said, it was suspicious because there were no emblems on the van, which yes, I would find that suspicious. But the point is, people notice things, walking their dog, taking walks. Somebody would call again, hey, did you check about the white van? Did you hear anything? I would ask the police, did you learn anything about the white van? Whatever. They had electronic forensic van at Sister, so I feel like they would have found out they were sending emails. Makes me think the ransom is scammers unrelated, okay? I will admit in the beginning, I thought someone was trying to sabotage Savannah from the reporting the Winter Olympics in Italy, so they caused this. Gosh, why would you think that? Reading book says you can't have a normal life if rich people needed to be vetted if working for her, okay? You can't have a normal life if your rich people needed to be vetted if working for her, okay? But now it just feels like it was someone close to her, okay? Well, see, as somebody was saying the other day, that you would be surprised at the people who don't do background checks on the hired help. And that's how people do get robbed. The people that have working for them have criminal records and nobody has done a thorough background check. Then too, you have to also remember the people have friends. They have lovers. They have boyfriend, girlfriends. So let's say you have a nice young lady working for you, but she's got a not so nice boyfriend. He's a criminal. He's been in trouble. He's broken the law. He now knows his girlfriend, wife is going to work for a very well-to-do lady that's elderly and don't got nobody with her. You hear these stories all the time, okay? 6 degrees of separation. It happens every day. This is why I talk to you all the time about what you talk about on the wire, which is this thing here. You have to be very careful what you post. You have to be very careful what you talk about. You got to be careful telling people that you know people who are famous and well off. I see it all the time. As I told you all the other day, I have a relative who just got back from Europe, a very fancy place. And just yesterday or last night, I went to Facebook. She has posted a picture of all her shopping bags from a very expensive store. And I'm sitting here looking like, why are you showing that? Why are you showing these people all these shopping bags? Then when you were over there, you took a picture days ago showing us what you wore to Fashion Week or whatever. And they were expensive clothes. She basically was saying the top was Tom Ford and the bottom was something. And I was just like, and you're not even in America. Somebody knows your house is unattended. Do you have somebody staying at your house? Hope you got a nice security system. And then you're in one of the worst cities in America, Atlanta, where they rob you with your eyes open. You have to be very careful. Paris Hilton showed her jewelry collection off in entertainment tonight, and the next week got robbed. Well, and you saw what happened with Kim Kardashian when she went to Paris. It was a setup with the people in the hotel. You have to be careful. And I would tell anybody famous and well off, do not take your good jewelry with you on vacation. Take your costume jewelry. They want to steal it, let them. You can get another piece when you get back home. But don't take your wedding rings. Don't take your real jewelry that your grandmother gave you, whatever. Don't wear that SHIT. Don't take it even in the United States when you go on vacation. You're going to see your mother or your brother in Ohio. You don't need to take your real jewelry with you because you don't know what situation you're going to be in. I just don't recommend it. And also, if you live high off the hog and you like shopping in places like Gucci, Fendi, please stop showing that shit on Facebook and IG. Stop showing the bags. I just wouldn't do it. If they see the jacket and can say, oh, that's Fendi, okay. But I'm not getting ready to take a picture of all the bags that I bought from a very expensive store. I just wouldn't do that. Not hatred, that was anger. She refused to give money. You said not hatred. That was anger if she refused to give money. What do you mean, sweetie? Paris Hilton jewelry theft might have been somebody close to her. Well, sometimes it is close because once again, as I just said, these people have people coming in and going out of their house. So who knows better what you got in your schedule? If you keep a safe with money, many famous people, wealthy people do keep cash on them. People want validation and admiration. Well, and that's what they're saying about this person that's reached out to TMZ. They are attention seeking. If they're saying, if you really want to settle this issue with the Guthries, you would do this privately. You would not be advertising to TMZ in the news. You will call her directly and tell her, I have your mother. I want $3 million in Bitcoin. Here is the information. I want it by Thursday, and I will set your mother outside Thursday evening, blah, blah, blah. No, it was that Bling Bling group who looked at social media posts to find out what celebrity safes were so they could crack them. Yes, I heard about all that in LA. A string of young people running through the city, breaking in wealthy people's houses in Los Angeles. That's what people need to understand. There's always a way. And as you see what happened with the Teppies in Ohio, her ex-husband broke in her house and he was there weeks before, obviously tampering with their door, with their keypad. So see, no one is safe. And this man was holding on to a 10-year grudge because his wife left him. Somebody just typed that it was hatred. I said it was anger because she refused to give them money if they asked for it. Yes, but think about it. Think about what you're saying though. It's both. You forgot she was bleeding, which means somebody hit her. The anger is hate. Because what happens when you become angry over and over and over again? You grow contempt for a person. That's why they tell you to leave certain type of people alone, because eventually what starts out as love is anger, then contempt. You go in stages with people, with your emotions. This is why they tell you to bow out quickly so you don't end up hating a person. But you keep dealing with them and they're doing ignorant shit and they keep doing stuff to hurt your feelings and disrespect. Eventually you will grow to hate them. And that's the one thing I think that some people may not really want to address with the situation with these people, because I keep saying the same thing over and over. You don't know nothing about Savannah Guthrie. You don't know anything about Nancy Guthrie. You don't know anything about that sister and that husband. The one thing I've learned about people is that there is always people who do not get along, whether money is involved or not. There is always favoritism. There is always somebody that is valued, validated more than another one. That could be the issue as well. And then you factor in the money. One sister has all the money. Contempt grows to hatred. Why I don't got no money? Why I ain't got no nice house? Exactly. Yin yang light dark. Exactly. She's prettier than me. Her eyes are green, mine are blue. One's redhead, one's dark hair, one's got blonde hair. And I can honestly say that the one with the dark hair, she looks a little bit different than Savannah and Cameron. I pay attention to everything. So I'd like to see what the father looked like before he died. Looks are everything to some people. We have parents who judge their children by their looks, even though they gave birth to them, they created them. They treat their children differently. So everybody's saying all these nice things about Nancy Guthrie. For all we know, oh, Nancy could have been a bitch. Naturally, she's not deserving of being beat up, hurt, kidnapped. But as I have said, contempt, it grows and it grows. Then it grows into hatred. Animosity is the same thing. It grows and it grows. And for all we know, if this is within the family, somebody wasn't getting what they thought they deserved. But you got to remember, this woman has a lot of money. And we don't know how much money she's shelling out to these people. But you got to remember, she's got a husband, I think, and children. So is she the type that she gives out money monthly, every other month to these people? Because you always got to remember, you start that, it's never going to end. Somebody's going to keep coming back for more. It starts off with a little bit of money. It starts off, I need money for an apartment. Then next you know, it's money for a house. Now it's money for stuff to put in the house. Now I want another car. I want another truck. See where I'm going? It don't stop. Some people really think they're owed something. Like that rapper Gorilla Sis thinks she owes the family. Okay. Ransoms are so rare. Yes, they are. That situation also can grow into resentment. Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. You're sitting here watching somebody live well. You know damn well Savannah lives very well in NYC or New York area. Her kids are probably living high off the hog, husband, all of that, taking trips, traveling, and you're sitting here huffing and puffing, barely making it. I want you to think about that. She's taking trips, she's eating out, she's dining in fine restaurants, she's living good, and you're sitting here barely living. You're driving a regular old car. Probably can't even afford the car note, can't afford the mortgage, can't afford the gas, can't afford the water, can't afford the groceries. You're in Arizona. It costs to live in Arizona, California, Oregon, Washington. All of those places are very expensive to live. They are not cheap. And now you got a sister, and I'm not trying to say that there is any hatred. I'm just being hypothetical. She ain't wanting for nothing. She can go to her bank account and pull out what she wants, when she wants. No big deal. Or something is happening, folks. Okay, let me go in here and look, sweetie. Who said that? Boycott? Okay. Hold on. Let me see. So it says Drone shows investigators conducting search at Nancy Guthrie's home.
I was You did it for my mom.
Oh, sorry about that. Oh, come on. Okay. So they're just showing the trucks are outside her home because right now it's 9 my time, 9:13. So it should be 7:13. It's dark there. Let me see if somebody's saying anything. I don't see anything. Brian is live there. Just had a report from News Nation. They showed up. It's all over YouTube. Yeah, they're just showing the drones. That's what they're showing. Just the drones showing the truck. Nobody's talking. Just showing that the trucks are there, the cars and stuff are there. I'm trying to find somebody that's talking about it. I'm going to upload this. This is 9 minutes ago from Fox News.
Sticking with us this extra hour of the big weekend show, this breaking news. Earlier you mentioned, just some ideas of what the perpetrators here may be doing, perhaps trying to get more time. What I want to ask you, since you're an FBI special agent, is what is it that the FBI
I think they probably
brings
asked
to the
for money
in this investigation that local law enforcement, state law enforcement, general police efforts, investigators can't do? And is any of that in motion right now?
That's a great question. We love working with our local law enforcement agencies. The local and state, they're phenomenal, and they bring a lot to the table. But again, the FBI, they do have very unique resources, and I, again, greatly appreciate that President Trump has said, look, take whatever you need. Every single resource that you need, we will give
They're
it
outside,
to you.
honey.
And
They're
that
just,
is powerful because
they got the
FBI
camera
does have
still.
very
It's not showing
special,
anything.
techniques,
It's just a
investigative
drone.
tools, and other things of that sort. So let's start with our CAST, for instance, our cellular analysis support team. They will literally go in and they can tell where a cell phone has been pinging. They can go and look in a certain area and they can tell basically every single person that used a cell phone in that area, and they can then triangulate that, they can track that, and then they can determine where was this person at this exact hour. And so if someone's saying, oh, I wasn't there, well, if you had a cell phone, look, the pings don't lie. They do not lie. And it is a very complex and sophisticated technology. They do an amazing job of it. We have our critical incident response group. That includes all of our hostage rescue team, our SWAT, our behavioral analysis unit.
I just saw the video of the drone. People were,
that is one of the divisions that is so crucial in this investigation because of these emails that are coming out. They do a full statement analysis. They will review everything. They will say, okay, they'll sit with the family and they will say, look, this is what we believe that they're saying. These are profilers that have been working these types of investigations. I mean, we're talking hundreds of investigations that have been worked. I work very closely with many of these profilers, and this is how you solve cases. You look at behaviors, you look at patterns. And so a lot of the things that I'm sharing with you are based on things that I personally experienced by looking at different behavioral patterns in the past. Of course, this case is always unique, but when you look at what you've done in the past and how there are a lot of similarities, BAU is outstanding. The other thing that they bring to the table are evidence response teams. They're phenomenal. They go in and they reconstruct crime scenes. I believe that they are definitely reconstructing the crime scene, trying to determine what occurred in this instance, and then they're taking all of the technological artifacts and they're piecing them together and they're narrowing in the timeline. So we've talked about, for instance, the Ring doorbell camera or the doorbell camera that stopped working. They're going to take that specific artifact and then they're going to piece it together with, the pacemaker app stopped working. Then they're going to actually piece it together. And one thing that I think the FBI is definitely doing is think about it. This woman had a pacemaker. Our heart rate is extremely important. It's indicative of a state of stress that you might be in. So I wouldn't be shocked if they're taking her pacemaker app and they're looking at her heart rate over the last, let's say, couple weeks and seeing when did it spike, when did it drastically change when she was in a moment of distress.
Where they got the
and when that
drone.
occurred,
Who was she
And
with?
it starts,
What was
so I
she
can
doing?
see the
Again, if this is being brought
the
on
house
this
and the truck and everything.
crime, is someone close to her? Was it someone that had been around her in the last week, the last 2 weeks, the last few days prior to her disappearance? Again, they're going to be looking at all of the communications. They're going to be bringing in our CART team, our computer analysis response team. They are phenomenal at taking all of the electronic devices, and they will literally make an image. They will extract all of the information off of it, and people think, oh, you know, I deleted my text messages. Oh, I deleted the email. No. The FBI, they can go in and recover all of that. So again, we're talking CART, we're talking CAST, we're talking CERT, we're talking all of these things are being brought to bear right now.
So Nicole, thank you for outlining all that. So knowing all that, knowing those capabilities and those possibilities and options, do you think that the FBI, the local police, are speaking to the perps through Savannah Guthrie and her family, or do you think this is more the family saying, "Listen, this is what we want to do because we need something we need to move this forward"?
Right. They want their mom back, right? So again, just similar to the response to the email, the first email, right? They work hand in hand. But at the end of the day, so for instance, a BAU profiler, they would likely be working very closely with the family on the statement analysis and saying, hey, look, this is what we suggest that might be good to say in a response based on these behaviors. But at the end of the day, the family calls, they make their own decisions. The FBI can say, and again, I'm not in a position, nor am I going to comment on paying ransom.
Yeah, this is the one with the drone showing the people walking by.
I just think it's best that the FBI and the professionals, they do this all the time. And so let me just say that the family at the end of the day is their choice. But they do work very, very closely. And I'm sure they're in consultation with law enforcement. And this Guthrie family, Savannah and her siblings, I mean, they want the best outcome possible. And they're doing everything in their power to bring their mom home alive. That is the goal, and that is what they want. And so I know for a fact that they are listening very closely to law enforcement. That it has to be made very clear that the FBI will never come in and say, you must do this, you must say this, you have to do this next.
I don't know.
It's ultimately up to the family. But again, the FBI's
somebody got the special light.
Their job is to protect the American people and to do everything that they can to protect the American people. That is their job.
Nicole, we want to remind everyone of what the Guthries said in their videos from earlier this week, and then, of course, the one from today. We want to play those videos just so we can remind everyone.
They're using the infrared lights, the people out, since it's so dark out there.
We are ready to talk.
You can't see them, they're so black.
We live in a world where voices and images are easily manipulated. We need to know, without a doubt, that she is alive and that you have her. We want to hear from you, and we are ready to listen.
Whoever is out there holding our mother, we want to hear from you. We haven't heard anything directly. We need you to reach out, and we need a way to communicate with you so we can move forward. But first, we have to know that you have our mom. We want to talk to you, and we are waiting for contact.
Nicole, does anything stand out to you in terms of the difference between these two videos and the one that, of course, was just released this evening?
In this one that was released this evening, I did not hear a requirement of proof for life. I did not hear that. I did not hear a requirement to ask for communication. I heard that she said, we are ready to pay. So that is a very big difference. I think it's important to note that the proof of life that was, again, I have not seen the emails, but based on press conferences, they mentioned something about a floodlight and an Apple Watch. In my opinion, that's a very weak.
They're showing the drone footage of the house. It was
I want to know
infrared lights.
Something that I told my mother when I was a child that only my mother would know. To me, that's a sufficient example of proof of life, not something that just recently happened that they may have been seen on the news.
Police said somebody was trespassing on the property. Now they laugh.
Anyone would agree with that.
Oh, this is getting crazy. Okay.
Only something my mother would know.
Yeah, the footage I'm showing, they're not talking.
We do not know everything. We do not know everything. The investigators do. But based on what we're hearing, that doesn't seem
they shouldn't be trespassing.
that happened. And also, we're not aware of any information that may have happened. And the fact that Savannah Guthrie is again going on her Instagram and saying, we are ready. What she's basically saying is, look, you probably wanted time and your time is up because we're ready. Let's go. What do you got? Let's do this. That's what it looks like to me.
Nicole, I know the country is deeply concerned about this and sort of captivated by the story. And a huge question looming there is, of course, where is Nancy Guthrie? But a related
They're on
question
high alert in case they drop the body off. But they're not gonna take the body there. That would be crazy.
Possibly could be responsible for this.
Tennessee Savannah could be playing them too.
I know that you were not a part of it, but trying to put yourself sort of into that mentality, there's a universe of potential suspects.
Let me ask you all this question because I asked you all this last night during the live. How many of you would pay the ransom without proof of life? Put a Y for yes, put an N for no. How many of you would pay without proof of life? They haven't sent you anything, they haven't sent you a video, but you'll just go ahead and pay them anyway. Yes or no? Timmy, how old are you? I believe you're young. Timmy says no. Bonnie says no. Okay. I got 2 no's. Close circle is what they're talking about. What you said, 20? Laugh out loud. What do you mean 20? $20? Please tell me you're making that up.
Who's very close to the family, someone who's maybe mid-range from the family with connections to the house or to the family. People have talked about contracted employee for
in age. Okay. I think you were young. June says yes, you can pay without proof of life. Really, June?
Think about those possibilities. Walk us through some of those because it's got to be one of those 3
Is it somebody close?
Correct, absolutely. And
we are snowed in without school. Laugh out loud. Okay. How many of you believe somebody in her circle, that's either her children, family, somebody that's worked for her, church, been to her house, took her out of her house? Close, put a Y. No, put an N. The person that took her out of the house, does she know them? Bonnie says yes. Does she know the person that took her out of the house, Timmy? Yes or no? Liz says yes. I got 2 yeses. Well, let's go here. If it's somebody that she knows that took her out of the house, then where is she? Where is Nancy Guthrie? Next question. Is she alive? Yes or no? Hello, Yvonne. In the desert shallow. Oh, Timmy. So I take that's a no. Is Nancy Guthrie alive? Yes or no? Timmy says she died that night. Okay. Three no's. Reading books, you know she's not overseas. Now stop it. Underground meaning what? Underground hidden? Yvonne says no. Timmy says, but I hope she's alive. Okay. How many no's do I have? 2, 3, 4. All right, everybody. Is she alive or deceased? Hidden where? Reading books. You got to feed a person. They've got to use the restroom. You got to remember, she don't have her meds because Obviously, they checked to see that all her meds are still intact in the home. And another thing, I haven't heard anything about her wallet. What's in her wallet? Does she have money missing? Does she have money put up in a safe, in a cookie jar? See, all that's going to be relevant. Her legal documents, where are they? Are they missing? Life insurance, will, deed to the house, car title, all that. Are all her papers intact? The same reason we still haven't heard of Summer or Sebastian being found. Okay, hold on. Those people know that the area well. They lived there for years. Okay, it stays Severn. Where would they keep her at? Yes, very true. She's hidden underground. Underground where? Reading books. Bonnie says they disposed of her in that area. Well, I'm just going to say, as I said before, if this is personal and it is one of her children, the body has got to surface in order for you to collect. So if they have insurance on her, or she has insurance on the kids, to give for her kids if she dies, she's got to be found dead. And also, you can't be a suspect to collect. Stay woke. So if you're trying to get her house, her car, money, sale of the house, Mrs. Nancy got to show up, alive or dead. Does she mean in a bunker underground? Timmy, I don't know. Timmy says she ain't in no cave. Timmy, your best. People know of places like that. Well, they might, but you got to remember, she's not in tip-top shape to be hiding out. She probably needs to sit a certain way. She needs to have her feet elevated. She probably has poor circulation. You've seen how banged up her hands and arms were in those photographs. Some people believe that's from taking blood thinners. She also has a pacemaker. She may be diabetic. She's got some real problems. So she needs to be comfortable. You trying to hide somebody out, God forbid it's a small space, she's not going to be comfortable. It won't take long. She wouldn't survive once she worried herself to death. Oh God, he said a creepy living room. Oh Jesus.
Again, no, I was not a part of the behavioral analysis unit, but I have worked very closely with them because I worked on violent crime, and so that's how we solve our cases. I've worked, murder for hires, homicides, things of that sort. So it's very common for us to consult regularly with the VAU program and department, and they are outstanding. These are the best professionals around. They are knowledgeable, they are highly trained, and they are very good.
Well, I'm thinking they don't have her meds because they keep talking about the meds. If she had her meds, they say they took her meds.
Doesn't know that a random person. Is it possible? Yes. Probable? No. It's just not highly probable based on past cases and investigative experience. Not probable. Someone who I think it's highly probable that this individual or individuals, we do not know if it's more than one person. In my opinion, it likely is more than one person. And in my opinion, I strongly believe that at least one of them, if it's more than one, is a male. Again, just based on past experience. I think it's highly probable that this individual is in her close circle, whether that is a family member, whether that is, like you mentioned, someone who cleans the pool, a nurse home caregiver, a person who cleans her home, a person who does the yard. I mean, it could be a number of different things, right? That's, more probable than a stranger. But as someone who is very familiar with who she was, what time she would be there, her pattern of life, that she was 84 years old, that it was difficult for her to get around. Think about it. She's the most vulnerable victim around. I mean, it's almost like a child. Children and elderly are the most vulnerable victims that we have in society. I think that the probability of it being related, when we talk about the FBI, one thing that I know for a fact that the FBI is doing, and VAU and others, are going in and looking at the relationships that she had. I know that they imaged her phone. We talked all about the Celebrite. That would be used to image a device, an electronic device, whether it's a phone or a tablet, and they are going to go through all the communications that she has had. And frankly, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that on those that were in her close circle, right? Let's say that
her daughter, her son-in-law, or other people that she was very close to? Were there any quarrels? Were there any disputes? Were there any issues? Were there any big events coming up? Were there any major financial transactions?
Well, Yvonne, I don't think the people who are wanting the money have her. That's my belief. I don't think the person who is in contact with TMZ and the news station have Nancy Guthrie. I don't think they're related. As I had said to you all before, you already have one person in custody for trying to defraud the Guthrie family. He reached out to Annie and Tommaso. He is now in custody in LA. Why would you believe this person is legitimate? They have not shown proof of life. Why would you pay somebody money when they can't even show you your mother on video, film, nothing? So if you have one crook, you could have two crooks. For all we know, the guy that's arrested in LA, he could be still working with somebody who's doing the letter writing and he was doing the phone calling. See, we don't know. But I wouldn't pay a dime. I would not give up a fucking dime. Do you hear me? And more than likely, and this is how I honestly feel, whether it's connected or not, her getting out the house versus these stupid people calling, they're not getting ready to produce Nancy Guthrie. I think most of you know this. They're not going to produce her. Because I don't believe this person who's navigating with the ransom note, they don't have her. As you're hearing these people talk in this commentary, somebody close did this to her and took her out of that house. And they're probably laughing and enjoying all of this nonsense with these ransom notes, thinking, thank God they don't have to focus on us taking her out. But I think somebody saw something. I think somebody saw something on camera, because there's a reason why police were at the Circle K. Well, it would be money wasted, sadly. Do you think FBI will keep pursuing the kidnappers? Yes, you've committed a crime. The lady is missing. It's just like murder. Murder don't stop. Police don't stop investigating because they haven't arrested anyone. She is currently missing. So it is a crime. It is obvious she did not walk out. There is DNA to show that something happened to her. More than likely, she did not do it to herself. She did not bump her foot, stub her toe, bumped her nose onto something. If so, they would have said that it's a crime scene in her living room or bedroom or wherever. I don't think this lady's alive. I don't think the people sending the notes know where the hell Nancy Guthrie is. If they are the same people, they can't produce her, because you would have to go pick her up from where you dumped her. And what are you getting ready to go do? Pick up a dead body? And I hate to say that, I don't think she's alive. That is the reason why there's all this prolonging with showing proof of life. I don't care what Harvey Levin is saying on TMZ. He's about as delusional as all get out, because he started a bunch of mess months ago with the Celeste Rivas, with the dismemberment and the frozen body nonsense. So I don't really want to hear anything Harvey has to say. No disrespect to TMZ. I don't think she's alive. That's the reason why they can't produce anything. Because they probably don't even know Nancy Guthrie. They're just taking advantage of a woman missing, and they know her daughter is a millionaire. You could tell the FBI dude at the press conference didn't believe in the ransom either. Yeah. Do you think they will find her at all? I hope so. They just want to give them hope. Exactly. The sheriff can't say, hey, I think your mom's dead. He can't do that. Even if he thinks it, he can't do that. Nobody's going to tell them that they think she's dead. They want them to keep hope. They want them to keep trying to talk to the kidnappers, could be kidnappers, because they are committing a crime. So they want to get to them. But I think what we're dealing with are deviant people crossing paths. One guy's already locked up. These people here may not have nothing to do with the guy locked up. They're working on their own just to get some free money. They don't have anything to do with Nancy Guthrie, perhaps. So you're talking about 3 crimes interlooping. And that's even scarier. That's even scarier. That people will come along and take advantage of a lady missing and say, oh, her daughter's wealthy. Well, let me see if I can try to get me some money. This is horrible. These people sitting in ransom could be in India. Exactly, they've said that. Nigeria, wherever.
Were there any fights about money? Was there a potential will that was being looked at? These are things that the FBI will not rule out anything. They're going to be looking at all of this. And so, again, probable versus possible, you never want to say, oh, that's not possible. But I think it's a low possibility that or a low probability, high possibility. It's likely someone that knows her well and is in her circle, in her community, shall we say. But again, let's take this into consideration. And I've worked many cases where it's not actually the person that has the grievance. There is someone involved in this who has a deep grievance. Okay? The person with the deep grievance may not be the person who actually committed the crime. They may have hired someone. Okay? So again, this is just a hypothetical. This is not what I'm saying happened, but let's say it's the pool guy. It may not be the actual pool guy that went in at 1:48 a.m. It may have been the pool guy that hired their friend or someone, because that's what we do. I mean, I've worked murder for hire cases. I am not saying this is a murder for hire case, but in crimes, when the person who has the grievance does not want to be responsible for committing the crime, they go and hire someone. So that's always a possibility as well. Is that possible? Yes. Probable? We're going to look, they're definitely looking into that.
Well, we're not, I think probable is about as certain as we can get in this conversation tonight. We just don't have enough information. Viewers at home know that. They know that we're trying to glean something from this. It's just not every day that you get this type of scenario, you get this type of crime, you get this type of, you don't know what happens next. So of course we're following it very closely. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us, for bringing your insight, your experience.
So the few commentary I've played during this live, people are doing the same. They're thinking the same. The sheriff for being at a basketball game. Oh, I didn't know he went to one. Well, see, that's the thing. Life don't stop because somebody's sick, missing, dead. You've seen that. You're seeing more people give their opinion who are in law enforcement that, one, this case don't sound right. The information is off and it looks personal. It looks personal, as you heard this woman saying. It's somebody that knows her, knows of her, has a grievance with her, could have hired somebody to do it. Maybe she's on to something. Could it be that somebody hired somebody? Hey, she gypped me my money. She didn't pay me what she was supposed to pay me. I want you to do something to that old lady. Because we have people who hold grudges all the time. May not be her children, may not be grandchildren, but it could be the pool guy, somebody that came to do plumbing, somebody that came to cut the hedges or cut the whatever, and she didn't pay them fast enough. She didn't pay all of the money. Don't think because when they're old, they a little slick now. Well, I'll pay you 10 next week. And maybe they say, well, ma'am, I need all my money. See, you really don't know. But they're going to find all that out when they go in her phone and look everything up, who she's been talking to, anybody asked her for money, a loan, if she's had any type of fraud with her name, credit card. See, you got to ask all those questions. Has she had anybody trying to use her social security name, birthday to get credit cards, lines of credit? Has she taken a loan out for any of her children, relatives? Has Savannah been asked for money from these relatives? She's told them no. So then they double back and went to the mother, and the mother said, I can't. She knows I'm getting it for you. See, you just don't know. And as I said before, don't think because she's 84, she hasn't dated a man. She hasn't liked a man, or a man has liked her, or perhaps a man has pursued her and she's told him, no, I'm not interested, or they had a falling out. It could be the most mundane reason. Is it extreme to break and enter, mess with cameras? Hell yeah. When you could just move on. But look what happened with the Tepe case. The Tepe case is a prime example of hate. The Idaho 4 is a prime example of hate. But they are different in the motive, but they are equally the same. Here's a guy walking around hating women, mad at himself, and he decides to kill 4 innocent kids in their home. Here's a man who's angry that his wife has left him. He's been holding a grudge for 10 years, and he went to her house, tampering with her home, made his way in possibly, and then weeks later, he broke in her house and executed her and her husband. So when you look at both of those cases, the Idaho 4 case, this case here, children going missing, wives, husbands going missing, it is usually somebody that knows them. That's a FBI stat. That ain't a Queen stat. That's facts. Kidnappings are rare. I haven't even heard of a kidnapping anytime. I can't even jog my memory. And more than likely, if a person was kidnapped from their home and they're now missing, it's because they know the person. They've done business with the person. They've either gypped the person, lied, stole, defrauded, broke up. It's something personal. And that's what's sad. Is sitting here trying to figure out who would do this to an 84-year-old woman. And I have said this before in this live. This is no disrespect to Mrs. Guthrie or her children, but we do not know them. We do not know how they were living. For all I know, Mrs. Guthrie could have been a hellraiser. She could have went to the Circle K and cussed somebody out behind that counter, and somebody remembered her and said, yeah, that's that famous lady's mama. She lives up there on the hill with them rich folks. See, you don't know. You just don't know. As I said, it's extreme. Breaking and entering, beating up an old lady, carrying her out. But people, unalive people for the most mundane reasons. You may not do it, but somebody else will. Well, Timmy, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that the hate drove him to kill those kids. Because see, Kohlberger hates himself. That's first and foremost. He's a woman hater. He's mad that he couldn't get what he wanted. So he killed those kids. Okay, the Tepe case. He knew his ex-wife. He's angry because she left them. But what I'm trying to say is, it's hate that led these people to murder. That's my point. And I won't doubt it's the same here. Because possibly Mrs. Guthrie is not even breathing. And that's something that some people are going to have to face, because here in a couple of hours, we'll be going into the same timeline of when these perpetrators entered her home. And that's going to be a scary thing for most of us going to sleep tonight, waking up probably at the same time when these people were messing with her cameras. And when the truth comes out, as somebody said in my chat last night, it'll probably shock us all. It probably won't shock many of us. Because you have a lot of people in law enforcement, they're already saying that they believe it's somebody that knows Nancy. She knows them, knows of them. They have crossed paths. It's not random. It's not a foreigner. It's not an immigrant. It's not somebody looking for bread and cheese and a place to sleep. It's somebody that she knows. And somebody who has some hatred for her. Or could be her daughter. I'm not sure. In the last interview, Savannah said they want to celebrate her. Yeah, I saw that. That's languages with knowing she has passed, willing to pay the money to give investigators another lead to catch them, possibly June. I have a feeling you won't be shocked, Queen. No, I won't. Because I'm listening to these other people who deal with this type of behavior, and they are detectives. Do you understand what I'm saying? They are FBI agents. They know more than I do because they have worked with these criminal minds. And a lot of these people, they already were getting gut feelings when they first heard that she went missing. And the more they listen to the story unfold for 6-7 days, a lot of the people are saying the same thing. This sounds personal. This sounds like somebody that has been in her house. They know her. They've broke bread with her. And the fact that the sheriff don't even want to tell us now who dropped her off after you'd already told us who dropped her off. Then you didn't want to mention it in the press conference. Then you won't tell us who called the family to say she's missing from church. And another thing we need to also talk about before I get out of here, because I'm approaching 2 hours, and I said I wasn't going to do the 2 hours. You go to her house at 11:10 because somebody called you and told you she didn't go to church. Why are you just now calling the police at 12 o'clock, 11:57? You went to her house. You had to see the scene inside, right? You had to see what it looked like inside. Did they open the front door and look out and see the blood trail on the front porch? Something isn't right here. So now you have to ask this question. Who is the person that picked up the phone to say she didn't go to church? And who did he or she call in her family? Because I didn't even pay attention to this timeline of 41 minutes plus the hour of somebody calling, and you were at her house for at least an hour. So which is it? They called you at 11, they called you at 11:10. Did you go directly over there, or you didn't walk in until almost 12? Okay, 11:56. Okay, so if you called at 11:56, you had to see whatever the police saw inside to tell you something happened to mama and she's missing. So then they said they went looking for her. So where did you go look? On foot or in her car? Did you use her car or did you use your own car? Did you all get in the same car or did you all separate and go in different cars? Did you walk the property and look in the brush? Did you go through the brush to the neighbor's house to look? Did you go knock on the neighbor's door? Because everybody keeps acting like the houses are so far. They're not far to most of us who can walk. Once you cut the brush down, the houses ain't really, to me, that far from each other. When I think of far, I'm thinking it's taking several minutes to get down to somebody's house. 10 minutes. Something's off here. Because what's going to happen is that we're probably going to find out the same people who went to check on Nancy are the same people she ate dinner with. Where does Cameron fit into all of this? Because most of you all have been focusing on this Thomas guy and Annie. We haven't heard anything about Cameron, if he's married, got kids. We haven't heard anything about law enforcement being at his house, going to his house, seizing cars from him. Warrants at his house. I'm sure they've been to his house, but don't you find it strange? We haven't heard anything about Cameron. We haven't seen police cars at Cameron's house. He says it don't look far, but might be. Well, it might, but I'm just saying, I was looking at the drive and the street to the next house, and it didn't look like a really far walk. It may be far walk for her because she couldn't walk, but I'm just saying it was close enough to where you could get to them if something happened to you, because she could easily go through the brush and probably get to their front door quicker than going out the front drive and then walking all the way down, you know what I'm saying, the main road. Who is the mystery person that called to say she didn't show up for church, number one? When was the last time she went to church or did this Zoom, whatever? Did she have any type of disagreement or falling out with anybody at the church? See, I thought about that too. Was somebody looking for money from her to donate to the church and she hadn't been to the church? I also heard somebody saying she had changed churches. I don't know if that's true or not, or if they were confusing it with the fact she hadn't been to church since COVID. See, lots of questions with no answers. Who was the last person she talked to when she got back to the house? Did she talk to Savannah, call her? Savannah called her. Did she call back and talk to Tomas and her daughter? Did she call Cameron? Did she talk to anybody? Lots of questions. Was somebody lying in wait? But then that don't make sense that they would take the cameras off at 1 something in the morning if they snuck in when the garage door opened. See, I don't know. Just a lot of questions. Yeah, they don't mention Cameron. It could mean he's not a suspect, but I think it's a trick being played, such as what, reading books? What type of trick is that? Who's playing the trick? All right, it says major development in the search for Nancy, Fox News. This was uploaded 6 minutes ago. Let's see what they have to say, then I'm going to check out of here. I'm almost scared to listen.
In the search for Nancy Guthrie, I'm Jonathan Hunt, live at the Pima County Sheriff's Office as Savannah Guthrie and her 2 siblings, Annie and Cameron, release another heart-wrenching, painful video pleading for the return
I gotta eat some, get out of there, dinner.
Let's watch.
I've been on almost 2 hours.
Your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
As you know, an initial ransom note from a purported kidnapper or kidnappers demanded millions in Bitcoin for Nancy Guthrie's return and laid out 2 deadlines, one of which passed at 5 p.m. on Friday. The other deadline, the FBI said, comes on Monday. Now, yesterday, investigators said they were reviewing a new message in the case. That one, like the first, was received by a news station here in Tucson, which said it contained this second message: no proof of life and no deadlines. Investigators returns to the Nancy Guthrie home.
Okay. So here we go. There is no proof of life in the second message note. No mention of another deadline. I think these people know she's not going to pay without proof of life. Although she's put out another video, her and her siblings, they see she has not sent the money. So they're not talking. And I think we all know why they're not talking. They never had Nancy. I don't care what Harvey said. I don't care what these other news people are saying. Anybody can make up something about a floodlight and a watch. Tell me something very personal about inside of Nancy's house. If you were in there, you saw more things than a watch. Tell me something personal about her bed, where you found her. You snatched her up out of the recliner, the sofa. You took her out of her bed. What were her pajamas like? What's the color of the comforter? That's the kind of stuff you would tell. Oh, she's got a picture of you all in the corner of her bedroom or on her highboy. That's the kind of stuff you would tell. She's got green furniture in the den, red furniture in the living room. That's what you would tell. Something personal that none of us would know. So reading books says, so who was the lady sitting behind Anna as she was reading that paper? Huh? What lady was sitting around behind her? Girl, what you talking about? Yvonne, I don't know. It's just a game. It was said the kidnappers described what she was wearing in a note. Well, I haven't heard that, but this is what I'm saying about that. you don't see your mother to know what she was wearing unless it's something familiar that you know that was in her closet. You see what I'm saying? Anybody could say she had on blue pajamas. Do I know she has blue pajamas? Somebody would have to be close and deal with her enough to say, yeah, mommy's got a pair of blue pajamas with kitty cats on it. You see where I'm going? I still just don't believe it. I don't believe they have her. I just don't, because they would end this.
Yesterday, among other things, they towed away an SUV, a blue Subaru, as far as we could see. That has now been brought here to the Pima County Sheriff's Department. Drone video also showed deputies and agents searching the property once again using flashlights as part of that search. Now, I want to bring in now Fox News contributor Ted Williams, former DC police detective and defense attorney. Ted, great to have you here on set with us at the Sheriff's Office. First of all, the news tonight, that gut-wrenching video we've seen, what did you make of it, Ted?
You know, Jonathan, it was shocking. I really was not able to comprehend it. You could look at this video in several different ways. Certainly,
that's her sister, Annie, in the first video.
She's a media personality. She knows how to speak plain, clear language. And I didn't see that there. And there were several things I must say.
The white shirt in the first video, that is her sister. Had her hair pulled back. Today she had her hair down.
We can have peace. And then to say, this is a mission, should you choose to accept it.
Oh, sorry. They had a commercial. Sorry about that.
To us, and we will pay. You don't talk about your mom in that way if your mom is still here. This is very valuable. You would say something like, we love our mom. Our mom is very valuable to us, and we will pay. And you would make those kinds of arrangements. And so I'm deeply, deeply disturbed and concerned.
It was, as you watched that video, and when we first watched it, when it popped up, we're all trying to pass the language. And I think we have to leave it to our viewers to. Everybody can look at that. Everybody can make of it what they will. But the pain was writ large on Savannah's face. I noticed Annie seemed to be struggling to hold herself together, sobbing. Cameron, the brother, stoic as we have seen. What about the approach, though? The direct appeal, we will pay. Smart move?
Well, it's a...
Okay, they're discussing the video released today and the words used. So I'm going to ask you all. I played it for you earlier, showed it to you. Do you believe they know Nancy is dead? They know these people don't have her and they ain't gonna pay. But she's saying it on her mouth just to see if she can get something else out of them. They're not responding. I already knew what time of day it was days ago. Because this isn't what you do when you want money. I think most of us know this when we've asked people for money. We ask. We ask directly, hey, do you have some money I could borrow or I can have? You wait for a reply. You don't go send messages to all these different entities to ask your own brother, sister, cousin for money. Nobody does that. You ask the person that you want the money from. You're not asking for $20, $30. You're asking for millions. So you should be wanting to talk to Savannah Guthrie. I find this very bizarre that you expect somebody to just go to the bank and get all this money pulled out and just send it to some anonymous ass address that can't be tracked allegedly. And you don't want to say nothing about this woman and nothing personal so they can even know that she's alive. It's bullshit. And maybe somebody has finally told them, you do whatever you want, but something is not right with this person. I don't think they have your mother, but you do what you want. And the FBI told us that. We do not tell them what to do. They can pay if they want. But I think deep down inside, they all have talked to each other and they know something is not right. Okay, I'll watch it again, sweetie. They know she's gone, but don't know who did it. Okay. Yes, I think Annie knows something. She was smiling, shaking her head as she was watching Anna. Okay, and that's what I saw in someone's video earlier. Somebody has put up a short cue, and they said, "Why is she smiling while they're talking?" And I think that's in the first video where she's wearing the white shirt. Bonnie says, I picked up from the first video that Annie has a strange way of speaking. I know that she's a poet, but the way she phrased things was kind of strange. Okay, interesting. Let's finish this commentary, everybody. News, Fox News is the source.
A smart move if, in fact, you're saying, hey, look, you have my mom, and I'm sorry she's dead, but we want her back. I believe that there was some communication, some contact from the possible abductors, and if she's no longer here, they made some kind of an excuse as to what took place. And this is the reason that I believe Savannah says, we understand. She's trying to let them establish a rapport, but more than anything else, she wants her mother back alive, but if not alive, she wants her mother's body.
Now, in these situations, will the FBI, in your view, have been a part of crafting the language of all of these video messages that they put on Instagram, the family?
Jonathan, absolutely. I believe that family has worked part and parcel with the FBI or law enforcement per se, and that law enforcement was certainly part and parcel of the making out and these various messages and drafting them up.
So where do we go from here, Ted? I mean, this is an investigation which has not run as smoothly as it could have done out of the county sheriff's office. It struck me that over the last few days, while jurisdictionally, obviously, the Pima County Sheriff's Department is still the lead agency, the FBI clearly taking a much stronger control of what is happening in terms of the investigation. You see that continuing going forward?
And I see it very, very much continuing. I think after that second note is when the FBI took over, came in, took the blue vehicle from Nancy's home, went up on that roof, found some information, and took that. I think the FBI is clearly involved, and the big question is, where do we go from here? The ball may very well be in the court of the abductors, and they're waiting for some kind of a response and communication.
Right. Stick with us for a moment, Ted. I want to bring in Joe Catanali, retired NYPD lieutenant, who is also with us. Joe, again, let's get to the big news of the night, this Instagram video. What do you make of that, Joe?
I have to agree with Ted to a large degree, because the language that they're using is not that of somebody that would say, please don't hurt her, please don't do this, please don't do that. It's apparently they're in control, they know it, and at this stage of the game, they have to play by the rules that are being set by whoever these persons are. So the investigation is going on from so many different aspects right now. They're still pinging the towers. They're still going back to that day. It's a desolate area, so they're not that desolate, but it's just not as congested as you would have in New York City. So it'll be a little easier to get the pings, on their phones. But the message that's being sent tonight is a clear one. They want their mother back. That's the bottom line. They are a religious family. You know that from the prior, talks about this and everything. They expected her in church. Savannah's, big into her faith, and this plays into it big time. They want their mother back, and I'm not going to be the one to say under any conditions, but it's getting pretty dire as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and Joe, I just want to point out to our viewers, as we look at you screen right there, and now look at me.
There's no other woman in this video.
Screen, that is live pictures from one of our drone cameras. Two sheriff's vehicles, as we understand it, have just shown up at Nancy Guthrie's house. We don't know what their purpose is. It may once again be simply a traffic control kind of measure there. We don't know if any sheriff's deputies are heading back onto the property and if they are going to be joined by any FBI agents at this point. But Joe, talking of the sheriff's department here, how do you see the investigation having played out so far? Obviously, as the sheriff here, Chris Notice, has admitted himself, he is open to some Monday morning quarterbacking. Do you think he's done everything to the best ability here, or do you see the real need for the FBI to take control of all of this?
Oh, there's a clear path for the FBI to take this. I mean, this isn't a large department. I'm sure they've never seen anything like this before or handled anything like this before. The FBI has, in New York City we have, and we have the resources for this. Personally, I would have had that crime scene secured from day one and not let anybody in there, not the press, anybody, to get those photos of, the blood stains or anything. And that's for a reason. You have to maintain the integrity of that crime scene. Ted can tell you that. We've done it a million times. And it's not that you can't go back.
You said that was Annie, the sister. Anna is the poet with a job.
Where nobody else could have
they call her Annie.
Anything. And then you have a roster of who came, what time, what they did, and what was retrieved. And the FBI can lay that out. Clearly, department that doesn't have the capacity to do that. They also have the state police that could come in. But, that area should have been secured. And, like I said, it's not Monday morning quarterbacking. It's dealing with a department that's never had anything of this on this scale.
Right, and Ted, that is a fair point, isn't it? This is, we all come into Tucson, it's a huge case, national, international attention, and it's going to take sometimes, to be fair, a sheriff's department of this size to get up to speed with something with that kind of spotlight on it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And let me just say, my friend Joe is absolutely 100% right. The first thing you do is the preservation of the crime scene. And you do not allow that crime scene to be contaminated. And in this instance, it has been contaminated.
Let's go back and look at the sister's reaction.
Numerous text messages from the couple and even took their car for inspection, seemingly making the couple prime suspects. Moreover, Annie's husband also works just a 2-minute walk from Nancy's house. Secondly, Nancy was taken at night. The home's security cameras were destroyed, and her usual heart medication was removed, suggesting the kidnapper was very familiar with the layout of her house and her daily routines. Finally, Annie was the last to see her mother that night, after a heated argument over finances, suggesting a possible wealth gap between Savannah and her sister's family. Do you find Annie and her... Did you notice that Savannah Guthrie's sister blinked 10 times per second in the video? It seems no one realized how uneasy she was. Today, Savannah and her sister Annie released their first video about their mother's kidnapping. However, Annie appeared nonchalant and blinked at an unusually rapid rate. This involuntary behavior may indicate concealment or extreme pressure. Meanwhile, police suggest the kidnapping may involve a family member. Firstly, yesterday the FBI even brought forensic equipment to Annie's home. They copied numerous text messages from the couple and even took their car for inspection, seemingly making the couple prime suspects. Moreover, Annie's husband also works just a 2-minute walk from Nancy's house. Secondly, Nancy was taken at night. The home's security cameras were destroyed, and her usual heart medication was removed, suggesting the kidnapper was very familiar with the layout of her house and her daily routines. Finally, Annie was the last...
Okay, I didn't notice the blinking because I didn't zoom in to the video when they were doing the first video. I did think she seemed a bit off, but like they say, everybody behaves differently. But I saw more emotion from Savannah. This video, Savannah is more, I don't know, I would say businesslike. And yes, celebrate is strange. I could only see celebrating if the mother's getting ready to have a birthday. It's not Christmas, it's not Thanksgiving. The only holiday we got coming up is Valentine's Day. So I don't know what she meant by celebrate. You mean celebration of life? I don't know. Yes, but Yvonne, I don't even know if that's true. Everybody's making up stuff. Nobody's going to tell you they argued about money. Who's going to tell you that? I don't know where people are getting that. But that girl is not going to tell somebody that when her mother came over for dinner or wherever they went, they argued about money. So I don't really know. Hello, Pretty K. Yeah, she was blinking. It was rapid. Amy, blinking to me is a sign of being upset. Well, or as the woman said, concealing something. But you can see the difference in the behavior. The brother was like a bump on the log. She was looking kind of strange. Savannah was the only one that seemed to have a lot of emotion. Now, second video today, all of them are holding hands with one another. I also heard that she may have moved them out of the house. They all moved to another house. Where I find that interesting is that I don't know if I would want to be in a house with anybody, considering the Ashley Banfield allegation that Tomas is a suspect. Now, I get it. She don't have to believe it. But see, that's the difference between Savannah and Queen. Soon as Queen heard that, Queen radar would have been up. What you say? He a suspect? Where Ashley Banfield get that from? I would have backed up in a corner. Do you hear me? I would have backed up in a corner and I would have told everybody I will be at the Hyatt Regency stand. When there's some updates, come holler at me. But I ain't sleeping in nobody's damn house. That's Queen. I'm not Savannah. So what happened to her needing her meds in 24 hours? What about it? What about the meds? See, nobody is paying attention to the information. Says she got it from the higher up. Yes, the higher up. As this one guy said, and I played the commentary for you during this live, so you'll have to go back to the beginning of the live. Why are you all believing anybody who would put their hands on your mother? So what did I tell you? You want to get to the bottom of this story, you got to go back to the beginning. Somebody broke into your mother's home and they put their hands on her and they took her out of that house and you don't know nothing. And you got all these different people pretending to have her, but don't even want to talk to you. Why would you believe anybody? Why would you? Oh, I know about the medicine, the 24-hour thing. Yeah, I know about that. But what I'm saying is, why would you believe anything a person has to say who, number one, won't even contact you about your mother, won't show you proof of life, and then they put their hands on her allegedly? And you're going to believe anything they have to say? Make it make sense. That's the reason why they're not corresponding with Savannah, because they don't have her. If they have her, they no longer have her. If they really was in that woman's house, they could tell her all types of things. You were in there for what, under 40 minutes, tinkering around. You can't tell them what the living room furniture looks like. You can't tell them what the kitchen looks like. You were in there looking for something. This is crazy as hell. And you have all these law enforcement people talking on different podcasts and news stations, and many of them are saying the same thing. Nancy knew her abductor. A lot of people believe that, because the more they keep revealing stuff to us, it's easier to believe that now. And that camera on top, I hope it tells something. I don't know if it's connected to them other cameras that's on top of the roof that they took. But I think it's very interesting that those vans were back at Annie's house last night. What were they looking for at Annie's house? Because they're doing what was supposed to have been done days ago. They're going through every damn thing. Your bedroom, your sheets, your dirty clothes, your sink, drains, cupboards, garbage cans, bathtub, toilet, laundry room, garage, your car, her car. This should have been done Sunday. A search warrant should have been executed on both houses. Both cars should have been seized Sunday. These people have had enough time to have cleaned these cars, at least their own car. And like I said to you all a little while ago, it was no accident that the police was at the Circle K. Somebody has told something. And then soon as, Nick the Hat, thank you, sweetheart. Nick Hat says, in my opinion, a hoax. Thank you so much, love. Thank you so much. Thank you. The fact that they were at the Circle K, and then the next time I looked up, they were back at Nancy's house with a flatbed truck towing her car. And I think a lot of you probably were watching and couldn't put it together. Queen put it right together. I could be wrong, but it looks suspicious to me. And somebody asked the police, why are you here? Does this have something to do with Nancy Guthrie? They said, yes, we're looking for video footage of a car. So I thought, oh, this is good news. But then when I turned back on go through the YouTube queue, they're back at Nancy's house, towing her car. Stay woke. Why would you be towing her car? She don't drive. So the first thing I said was, oh my God, tell me no. Tell me they didn't put Nancy in her own truck. Dumped her off, came back, went to the Circle K, either before or during, after, and then parked her car back in the garage, and then got in their own car and left. Scary thought. I hope I'm wrong about what I just said. Because somebody saw something for them to go to the Circle K. Somebody saw somebody's car. And I got a feeling somebody said, it was a blue SUV. So somebody said, go get a warrant and seize that damn Subaru. Nick Dad says, I don't know what's going on. It's a wild case. Yeah, it's a very wild case. But the more you listen, if you go on the YouTube queue right now, and you just start pulling up video for video for video, you're going to see a lot of people who are in law enforcement and former law enforcement. They're telling you it sounds off, the story sounds off. They've never heard of a case like this, and they believe it's a circle pertaining to Nancy Guthrie. It's somebody she knows of, she's dealt with, they've been in her house. No stranger danger. Well, it's several angles to this choppy story. Oh, reading books, you're hilarious. It may just be good old greed. Good old American greed.
As far as I'm concerned. But this sheriff department, I think, is out and was trying to do the right thing. But I think it's significant and important for the Federal Bureau of Investigation to come in as we believe they have and taken over this investigation.
Joe, The sheriff has been emotional at times when talking about this case. He was on NBC. Obviously, Savannah Guthrie works for NBC yesterday morning, and he seemed to choke up when he was asked, do you believe that Nancy Guthrie is still alive? And he talked about having to have the hope that she is. Joe, as somebody who's been through, who's seen so much crime, investigated so much crime, these are still humans, these sheriff's deputies, the sheriff himself, and you can't entirely put your emotions to one side, can you, in these situations?
On the human side of everybody that's affected by this, the sheriff as well. And let's not forget, this is a small community,
like
and these departments know the residents very well. They check on them. It's not large like New York City or in Washington, D.C., where you don't get to know everybody. I mean, I've dealt with so many small towns, and you'd be surprised at how they operate, and it's in a compassionate way, too. They check on the elderly. They have little signs. One department said, if this Mrs. So-and-so doesn't have her shades up in the morning, I know to go over and check on them. So this is very hard for a department like this to go through this when you may personally know this individual, and it's very overwhelming at times, but you still work through that. I'm not saying this department, with the resources that they have, the FBI, I'm sure the FBI, I know the FBI sat back and said, Sheriff, handle the press on this. We'll handle this aspect of it. Please do this, please do that. And that's exactly what was going on and what's still going on. Everybody's on board. They want to get the same job done. They want justice served.
All right, Joe, Ted, stand by. I want to just remind our viewers of why we are on air live tonight from the Pima County Sheriff's Office. We are here because we got a major development in the ongoing search for Nancy Guthrie. That development, a heart-wrenching video posted to Instagram by Savannah Guthrie. Watch once more.
We received your message, and we understand. We beg you now to return our mother to us so that we can celebrate with her. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay.
We will pay. The message from Savannah Guthrie to whomever is holding her 84-year-old mother.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling.
So she's acknowledging this Ransom person. We want to celebrate her. We will pay. Does seem very odd, the wording. Celebrate what? Celebrate reuniting? What did she mean? This is scary to me. Because as I have said so many times on this network, we have all exhibited blind trust with people. You have gone somewhere with somebody you did not know. You have gone to someone's house, someone's car, vice versa. You have met somebody online, date site, did not know them, went to their home, your home, whatsoever, met in a park. You don't know people. You also have dealt with people that you knew something was not right in their behavior, but you continue to deal with them. You've had arguments, disagreements with people, your sister, your brother, your husband, family. You've argued over money. You have told somebody, no, I cannot give you money, can't give you money anymore. You've asked for money, they've told you no. Blind trust. Yvonne says celebration of life funeral. But you never expect that the people will turn on you, okay? You have a disagreement with your friend, your roommates, bestie, but you do not expect that person to turn on you. It happens every day. So we cannot be shocked if we find out that this is a family member who has hurt her and discarded her. Because most of the true crime stories that we listen to are just that. The unaliving of a friend, foe, family member, loved one, lover. It is not a stranger. And it will be very sad if indeed one of her children has done this to her. And it can only be greed. You have something I want and refuse to give it to me, and I deserve it. And I will show you better than I can tell you. People are killed every day for money. People are killed when fraud is discovered. That's why you keep hearing the content that I've played you. I have been very meticulous about what I've played you during this 2-hour plus live to show you that the people are saying things I have already said this week. You need to get in that phone and see who she's been talking to, what she's been talking about, what she's been searching, what's been sent to her, who's been asking her for a favor. Everybody's finances. Has anybody opened up anything in her name? Has she opened up anything in her name? Lines of credit, loans. Does anybody owe her money? And as I said too, could it be somebody is tired of being broke? I want a life without a mortgage. I don't want to pay a car note anymore. See, you can bet your bottom dollar at 84, Nancy Guthrie does not owe $1 to anybody. She doesn't owe a light bill. She probably don't even owe a credit card bill. It's paid in full every month. Her house is paid for because we now know that's a family home that she raised her children in. So you already know she don't owe no note. Probably never been remortgaged, refinanced. It's paid in full. The taxes are paid in full. That Subaru, paid in full. Now, her other children may not be so lucky. They may have mortgages. They've got credit card bills. They've got debt. They've got loans. They don't own their cars. They ain't paid for their cars. Do you see where I'm going? And people can resent you, your own family, children. I want to be where you are. I don't want to pay a car note anymore. I don't want to pay a house note anymore. I want money in the bank. I want to be like my sister, Savannah. I know she's helping you and put you in this wonderful place to where you don't have to owe nothing. I want that. That could be what all this is about. Somebody is tired of being broke, and they no longer want to ask for money. I think most of you know you've been in this place before of saying to yourself, the hell with it. I ain't asking nobody for nothing else no more. I ain't groveling no more. I ain't begging no more. But you didn't think about unaliving anybody either. I have a suspicion that Nancy is going to be found. But she won't be walking and talking. I think what happened last Sunday was deliberate and intentional. Whoever walked into that home, they knew exactly why they were there and what they planned to do. They were done with dealing with her. That is why Nancy Guthrie has not surfaced. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because when they went in her home Sunday, they were done with dealing with her. That's why you know it's personal. I'm tired of talking to you, old lady. I'm tired of dealing with you. I can show you better than I can tell you. That's what this is about. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But that is the feeling I have been having for days. And the more the information comes out, and definitely the taking of her car yesterday, last night, this ain't good. Because this is too much work. If this is going where I think it's going, it's too much work for an outsider. They ain't getting ready to do all this back and forth with no car. They would have took her car somewhere, joyride, burned it, whatever. Maybe they don't know if she's gone, just pulling strings to get the kidnappers to respond. She's gone. Well, see, but the one thing about it is that the kidnappers are being asked to show proof of life. They can't show proof of life because they don't have Nancy. That's why they didn't respond yesterday. How am I going to respond when I don't have what you want? I want your money, but I can't give you Nancy. I can't give you a Zoom call. I can't give you a video chat. I can't give you that because I don't have her. And I can't risk telling you I've been pulling your fucking leg to get your millions. It's been a game for an entire week. And I just wish somebody would told this girl and her family, this is a dirty game. But they can't tell her that. Because as the sheriff said, I want to have hope. But that's what he's telling us. That don't mean he really feels that way. Because when you're in law enforcement, you know how to read people and situations better than others. It's just like my spirit kept focusing on the roof for 2 days. I never told you all anything about the roof. I kept just saying to myself, watching TV in the bed, I kept saying, wow, that roof is clean. And my spirit today, when I heard the news about the wire, I said, why were you focusing on that roof, Queen? And then I hear this, it shook my soul. But I've been doing this all my life, having these little premonitions of stuff. I've been doing this all my life. I'll think about something, and then somebody will come up and start talking about something that I had been saying. It'll spook the hell out of me. And then, I shared this story with you all from my great aunt that told me, oh, you've been born with the gift. You've been seeing things and knowing things. And it's not that I'm a fortune teller or anything like that, because I don't want to turn anybody off. But the thing is, I can think about certain things and it won't dawn on me at the time. But something had me focus on the roof for 2 days now, because that's what I kept saying to myself. Wow, it's so pretty up there and white and it's so clean, because there was no debris up there. So I had been focusing on that, but I never told you all that. And then I got the news today about the wire, and I was shook. I was shook, like, okay, Queen, what's going on? Goes to the gut, exactly. So when I heard about the Circle K yesterday, and somebody was reporting and saying, hey, what are you all doing here at the Circle K? And the police said, oh, we're here to get video footage of a car. I was excited because I said, oh, good. They've made a car out, God. But I wasn't expecting to see the next video. They were seizing Nancy's car. And then it hit me like a ton of bricks. That's Nancy's car they're looking for. Somebody has given a description of a dark Subaru or a dark SUV, and it's been sitting in the garage the whole damn time. So that means, if I'm right, somebody moved her car Sunday morning. And who might that be? And I think most of you know, those of you who follow true crime vigorously, there is a reason Nancy's car was seized. There is a reason 2 vans were outside of Annie's home last night. All of that action was back to back yesterday evening. Boom, 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 boom. And the first thing I was saying is, you all have done something to your own mother. Because there's really no need for anybody to be back in Annie's house 6 days later. You were supposed to be at her house as soon as you found out that Nancy had been at her house Sunday. So you all should have sealed off Nancy's house, went inside, searched for a couple of days, banged on the neighbors' doors, seized her car, gone over to Annie's home, searched her house, garage, property, and seized her car. There is no way anybody should be seizing cars this late in the game. And my spirit tells me Nancy was carried in her own SUV. Nancy is somewhere in Arizona or possibly outside. Because that's why you would need to go to the Circle K to fill up gas for the long drive or the return to put gas back in her car. Shut your mouth, Queen, to put it back in the garage. Because the one thing you always have to remember, if this is an inside job, and now I'm scaring the hell out of my own self right now. I got chills coming up my damn leg. Savannah knows when the last time that car's been drove, because she probably talks to her mother every other day. So if Nancy told her daughter when the last time she drove, what do you think she told her about the car? It's got half a tank of gas in it. It's got a full tank of gas in it. How would it look? They go out in their car and it's sitting almost on E. And what would be the first thing Savannah would say? That's not like Mommy. Mommy would never let her gas get far down like that. And then you know what she's going to do? She's going to go look at his brother, sister, whomever lives in town. Have you been driving Mommy's car? Mommy would never let her car sit down on E. That's what I think the Circle K is about. Somebody went and got gas and put it in Nancy's car. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. The one thing I'm going to say, and I'm out of here, if this daughter and that husband did this, you know you're fucked. because you know they don't have no business back at your house. You know that. And you know you were scared when they found the camera on top of the roof. You're also scared that they have seized mommy's car, because you're telling yourself, they have no reason to take Nancy's car. She don't drive it. Oh, but they do. If poor little Nancy was thrown in the back seat or the hatch. Sweet Jesus. Thank you for your time. Thank you for all my new subscribers, new visitors. Follow me on the Newsbreak app where I give commentary over there as well. I've got a wonderful little following over there. I want to thank all of those people. And I want to thank you all who follow me on the Newsbreak app. Download the app to your phone. It is a great source of information. It will keep you abreast on breaking news in the country, your area, and also overseas. All you have to do is put in your location and you will get local news in your jurisdiction. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $DeGanji, 129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Thank you for your time. God bless all of you. This is a horrible, horrible weekend because we're getting ready to go into the witching hour. And I know I'm going to start to feel some type of way because I'm a night owl and it's almost 11 o'clock here in Knoxville. And I'll probably be up. And I'll be up at the time that those creatures went into Nancy's house 1 week ago. And I'll probably start to feel real funky. Real funky. As most of you know, I'm a Christian. Sometimes I probably don't act like one, but I do believe in God. And I was listening to a young lady who has visions or whatever, even though I try not to get into all that hocus pocus stuff. But the one thing she said that I was listening to earlier when I was running errands. She said, I got a vision about Nancy and who the perpetrator is. She says the perpetrator is a guy who's olive skin and is about 5'7". So she said, I don't know how tall that Tomas guy is, but that's my vision. She also said that the girl changes her hair color from blonde to brown to red. First thing hit me was the video of Nancy, Savannah, and Annie in the Mexican restaurant. The sister's hair was long and red. So I thought about the lady in her vision. She says she changes and the eye color changes from green to blue, blah, blah, blah. And if you look at her in that first video, her eyes to me look dark from where I'm sitting. They don't look blue or they don't look green. I can't really see it because her hair is so black and dark in that first video. But that's the lady's vision. Olive skin guy and a redhead lady. They work as a team. She said even maybe possibly 3 people involved. This is scary listening to that. Like I said, I don't get into the tarot cards and visions and stuff, but I know that over time that I think back in my own life, the dreams I've had, premonitions, the deja vu, and all the years, I'm going to say this on a live, and I've never said this to anybody. Over the years, I've always had that dream about my house getting broken into, because when I was moving many years ago, somebody had broken into the apartment. So that's still kind of a fear because it's a dream, and the dream keeps recurring even now, 20-something, 30-something years later, which is scary as hell. But it keeps recurring. And then what's weird is sometimes in the dream, I'll be in that same place, opening the door and seeing that it's been vandalized or whatever. Then the dream will switch over the years. I'm in the skybox where I used to live. And then it'll switch to different places that I've lived. And I always kept telling myself that there's a reason why I keep dreaming that I'm in the skybox, even though I had been living out of a skybox for many years. I always felt like the dreams were trying to tell me that I was going to go back to that type of living, a living I did not want. Because once you get used to, living in an apartment where you can just walk straight out your door, have a balcony, you like that kind of living. But I always kept telling myself, you keep dreaming that you're in these apartments where you're covered up, covered in. I said, God, there's a reason why you keep dreaming this nonsense. Even though I wasn't thinking about getting my apartments broke in or anything like that. Where do you think I'm living now? I'm back in a skybox. So the fear that I had for years has come true. The fear of being back closed up in a skybox is now my existence. I moved from one skybox in November to another skybox. And that was what I dreaded since '09, that I would never have to move back in this type of setup. Are you all following me? And for 20-something years, I've had the same recurring dream in different locations, but it was always somebody pushing the door open. The door was unlocked when I would walk up to it. Somebody had jimmied the door, which naturally I'm praying I don't ever walk in any place. But you know what happened at the last apartment where the person was jimmying the door at the last apartment. Do you understand what I'm saying? So everything that I feared has come to fruition. So I do value my thought process. So there was a reason I was focusing on Nancy's roof. And now they find a camera up there. This is scary as hell to me. So I'm praying that when I cut this live off, I don't know nothing about Nancy. But I will agree with Mr. Trump, that's even more scary. There will be a resolution soon. And I think the Guthries know this. This is about to end. This is about to end. Because we have the FBI and they are on it. And I know, because I felt this late in the morning, that the people involved, they are scared shitless. The people calling in the ransom notes are scared, and the people who took Nancy out of her house are petrified because they know they have fucked up somewhere. They know they have forgotten something. And the one thing we know from living in this new digital age is that you cannot avoid the eye in the sky. You are seen somewhere. Walking out of your house, walking your pets, going to the Costco, Walmart, gas station, job. Somebody has you on film. You can't avoid it. I do not know where Nancy Guthrie is tonight. I pray that she will return home. But I have a sick feeling she will not be returning whole. And that's the part of this story that is just devastating. The thought that she's not alive. Exactly. There is no perfect crime. 50 ways to plan a murder, 100 ways to get caught. I'm out of here. Thank you for your time. You've been listening to The Vault Exhale. Good night, everybody. Thank you.